Hi, Church. Pastor Jake. Just wanted to share a quick video here as we continue in our series in Ephesians this Sunday. It's a joy to be able to just kind of bring you with me from time to time as I study the Word, and you can see from Ephesians 5 here, this first section where we're going to be verses 1 through 14 this Sunday. Lots of lines, lots of connections, lots of notes and squiggles. And it's a joy to be able to study the Word and preach the Word, and joy to be able to bring you with me as I'm wrestling with the text to see what it is that God wants us to see in the text, what it is that He meant in it and wants us to see and take from it. So, verse 1 is really key. Be imitators. The word imitator in Greek is where we get our word mimic from. So, be imitators of God. And then this qualifier, as beloved children. So, that's an identity statement right here, as beloved children. And as I wrestled with that, I thought about this reality. Like, rescued kids want to be like their dad. We want to be like him, and we're called to live in light of his character. And Paul uses language similar to that. In verse 2, we see the word walk in love. We see walk twice. Actually, I think we see it down here in verse 8 as well. Walk as children of light. So walking is another theme in this text. And walk basically means to live. So we're to walk in love. And then there's this qualifier here, as Christ loved us and gave himself up for us, a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God. So we have a picture of how we've been loved by Jesus. And then this really abrupt transition in verse 3. So, sexual immorality, which is the word porneia, which is a really an all inclusive term for sexual immorality, and all impurity and covetousness must not be even named among you, as is proper among the saints. Let there be no filthiness, foolish talk, crude joking, which are out of place, and instead let there be thanksgiving. Now, and I got there, boy, there's something to thanksgiving here. It's as if Paul is saying this is an antidote for a heart that wants to partake in these things, a heart that is tempted to partake in these things. When thanksgiving is in our hearts and on our lips, it's hard to be involved in foolish talk and crude joking, I think is what Paul is saying there. So that's key. In verse 5, for you may be sure of this, that everyone who is sexually immoral or impure, or who is covetous, that is an idolater, has no inheritance in the kingdom of Christ and of God. Let no one deceive you with empty words. Kinos logos, so empty words. And this is important too. Empty words is really important, because I think it communicates that these things in verses 3 and 4, which we get down to here, for because of these things. So we see the antecedent is back up to verses 3 and 4: sexual immorality, impurity, covetousness, filthiness, foolish talk, crude joking. Because of these things, the wrath of God comes upon the sons of disobedience. This is truth. God's wrath justly comes because of these things, because there's sin. And Paul is confronting something when he uses this term empty words. Empty words meaning people saying that you're under grace. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you live. It doesn't matter whose character you're reflecting. You don't need to worry about that. Boy, that's a pretty serious statement that he makes here regarding empty words of people saying that none of this stuff matters in verses 3 and 4. So we are to be really, really careful about that. And especially, he kind of continues to press that out here. Therefore, do not become fellow partakers with them. And we're going to talk about some distinctions around that, about having relationships with people who are maybe in those spots, but not partnering with them. For at one time you were darkness, but are now light in the Lord. So walk as children of light, for the fruit of light is found in all that is good and right and true. Try to discern what is pleasing to the Lord. Take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of the things that they do in secret. But when anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible. I think of John, kind of the light theme there. God as love, God is light. That becomes anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore, it says, Sorry to jump around there a little bit. Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. And as I read that initially, I thought, was that Isaiah? What is that? Um, a little bit similar to Handel's Messiah verbiage. And it's part of Isaiah. So we'll talk about that a little bit more on Sunday. But you've got discerning, you've got exposing, and then you've got, sin that's mentioned here. And boy, we certainly have um, committed sins, many of those sins, but I think he's talking about this heart of unrepentant sin, specifically in those verses. So there's something there, especially connected to empty words. Empty words in verse 6. So we'll look forward to unpacking this together. Thanks for walking through it with me. Boy, there's an awful lot in here connected to the new birth and our adoption as children of God, and look forward to walking with you through this text as God leads us this Sunday. God bless you.